Have you ever loved someone to the point of forgetting who you were? That kind of love that seems magical, inevitable, but that, deep down, leaves you dependent, empty, and invisible to yourself. Maybe you didn't fall in love with him. Maybe he fell in love with a part of you that he mirrored, a lost, forgotten, and desperate to come home. When do you love someone, or love what you have lost? Have you ever wondered why certain men seem to have a kind of magnetism that hypnotizes you? It's not just beauty, it's not just charm, it's something deeper, something that calls you home, even if you don't know where that house is. But what if this fascination has nothing to do with it? What if what you love in it is, in fact, a piece of yourself that you have abandoned? Carl Jung called it the projection of animus, the inner male of the woman projected in external figures. And when the woman does not know this male within herself, she seeks it in a man's eyes. Call it love. But will it be love, or an illusion well-dressed? Think of the men who marked you most, the one you could not forget, who left you in pieces when he was gone. You felt that you needed him, but did you need him, or the part of yourself that he represented? Here is the secret that no one tells you. As you project your soul into man, you lose yourself. You put him on a pedestal and kneel before his own absence. This is not a love story. It's a story of psychic addiction, emotional addiction disguised as romance. A woman hungry for wholeness, confusing desire with destiny. How many times did you think you were in love, but deep down, you just wanted to find yourself in his reflection? How many times have you become small just to fit into his world? And the question that screams from within, if you have never integrated your animus, how will you differentiate true love from emotional obsession? Have you ever felt that when a man leaves, it is as if a part of you were with him? As if something essential had been torn away, and suddenly you were empty, lost, incomplete? Why? Maybe because you weren't just loving that man. You were trying to find a part of yourself, one you lost long ago. He was more than a partner. He was the mirror, the living symbol of his own fragmentation. And you thought you needed it, but you really needed to remember who you were before you lost yourself trying to be the ideal woman. Women disconnected from their intuition, their truth, their center, desperately seek it in men. They want direction, they want meaning, they want to feel alive, and for a moment he seems to give it all. He smiles and you feel safe. He touches you and you feel soul. It disappears and you feel the universe collapse. But was it love? Or was it just the illusion of being whole by the presence of someone who represented what you did not access in yourself? You projected your compass on him, and now he's drifting. How many relationships were attempts to heal what childhood broke? The absence of the father, the disconnection with one's own soul, the pain of never being seen. As long as you seek out what can only be found within, every relationship will be an emotional drug. High-fall abstinence, the man goes away, and what dies is not just the bond, it's the illusion that he was your home. He seemed perfect, didn't he? The way he spoke, looked, touched, as if the universe had finally given you what you always waited for. But tell me, did you love him? Or did you love what he awakened in you? Because sometimes, the one we call ideal man is only the reflection of something we let die inside. He was not the savior, it was a symbol of his suffocated intuition, of his forgotten strength, of your emotional freedom imprisoned. And then he appears and something in you screams, now I will be happy. But happy with what? Yourself? You see in him all that you wanted to be but did not allow yourself. You see poetry where there is only projection. You see depth where there is deficiency. And that's the trap, because as long as you believe you need it to be complete, you will become addicted to it. But the addiction is not for him. It's for yourself, trying to get home on the wrong road. It's uncomfortable realizing that, but it's liberating, because only when you stop waiting for him to save you begin to really heal. And then the more honest question, how many men did you call the love of your life, when in fact, they were only unconscious attempts to rescue parts of yourself that had forgotten? Let's be rude here. You say that you loved that man, that he was special, irreplaceable. But if it was just him, why do other women go through such similar stories? Because it wasn't him, it was what he activated in you. He awakened something you thought you had lost, or something you never felt before, and he thought that only he could make you feel. Maybe he made you feel alive or wanted or safe or seen, but none of that was about him. It was about the absence you carried. You loved the flame, but you forgot that the fire was yours. It was only the match. And here comes the mistake. You fall in love with the match and forget it is the wood. That's why it hurts so much when he goes away. Not because he was your love, but because he took with him the illusion that you needed someone to feel whole. Can you distinguish what is true love from trauma attachment? That man who made you feel butterflies, palpitations, obsession, was it really love? Or was it just your nervous system trying to cure an old neglect? Women who were not emotionally welcomed in childhood confuse tension with connection. They think they are in love, but they are only recreating the chaos they know. They confuse intensity with depth, pain with destiny. That's why the right man sometimes seems boring. Because he doesn't activate his wound, he doesn't trigger his drama, he doesn't mess with his emotional addiction. The wrong makes you alert, and you confuse adrenaline with love. But true love is peace, presence, security, and often silence. Are you ready for that? Or do you still need the chaos to feel that you are alive? When you were crying for it, were you really crying for it? Or that part of you he seemed to carry? Perhaps it was his strength, or his lightness, his sensuality, his courage, his freedom. He seemed to have everything that you did not access. And next to him you felt whole. But this is not love. It's fusion. It's addiction, it's illusion. You have become dependent on a reflection, like someone who clings to the mirror, thinking it is the source of beauty. But the mirror only reflects what is already in you. It was not your soulmate, it was the symbol of your lost soul. And now you have two choices. Keep trying to find him in other men, or go after the part of you that he represented. Only one of these options will set you free. Do you know why so many relationships have become emotional prisons? Because most people don't want to love, wants to merge, wants to get lost in the other, wants to erase its borders to fit into us. But love is not fusion, it's encounter. It is when two worlds intersect without having to destroy each other. Immature love says, without you I do not exist. Mature love says, with you I grow even more. If you feel that you need a man to feel alive, safe, loved, this is not love. It's lacking with makeup. True love begins when you are already whole and choose to share, not fill. The question that remains, do you want to be loved or do you want to be saved? True love begins after the projection. In the beginning, it was everything, charming, mysterious, intense. But with time, the flaws began to appear. The incoherencies, immaturity, absences. And then you ask yourself, where did that man go? But he was always like that. It was your look that changed. You stopped seeing the symbol and began to see the human being. This is the moment of truth. This is where real love begins or ends, because real love can only happen after the projection dies, after you stop seeing what you want to see and start seeing who he really is. No idealization, no fantasies, no movie script. And here comes the most difficult question. Can you love the real man, or was only in love with the image that projected on him? Some men do not come to stay. They come to reveal their need, their hunger for love, their emotional dependence, their soul exiled. You call him the love of life, but deep down, he was just the catalyst for your own journey. He wasn't the happy ending. It was the beginning of your awakening. The pain he caused, it was the push you needed to look at yourself. You didn't need him. You needed to find yourself. He was a mirror. You thought it was fate, but now you know. The true destiny has always been you. When he left, it seemed that the world was crumbling, but over time you began to realize that what hurt so much was not his absence. It was the confrontation with the emptiness that you avoided for years. Without it, you couldn't escape. You had to look inside, face the loneliness. Hunger for yourself. Pain was not about him. It was about going back to your truth, to your wholeness, to your center. It was the pain of rebirth. And now you have a choice. Keep looking for mirrors in men that do not stay, or dive deep and become the woman who no longer needs to project to feel whole. Because when you meet, love is no longer a place where you get lost. It becomes the place where you choose to stay. And now, tell me, how many times have you confused love with want, intensity with connection, presence with salvation? How many times did you get lost in someone thinking that you were meeting? If this text touched something in you, a memory, a pain, a truth, share in the comments. What part made you reflect? Like, share and tag someone who needs to hear this. Because sometimes what we call love is just the echo of our own absence trying to get home. Are you ready for this reunion? Let's go together. See you in the next video.